TNT film reviewers present to you Charlie Chaplin and his history of his life and film productions.
Throughout film history, great dictators have always harbored a personal central focus that they weave into each and every one of their creations. For the magnificent Charlie Chaplin, his focus is the situation within the smile. I'm going to take it back to his history of his childhood and talk about what happened then. Charles Spencer Chaplin, born April 16, 1889, and died December 25, 1977. His father was a vocalist and an actor, and his mother was an actress as well as a singer. He had to fend for himself at age 10 after his father's death and his mother becoming ill, alongside his brother Sidney. Afterwards, he became an actor in order to earn money.
To make matters worse, at the age of 14, his mother was acquitted into a insane asylum. However, there was a light at the end of the tunnel for the great Charlie Chaplin. At that same year, he made his first professional debut as part of a juvenile group called the 8 Lancashire Lads. He quickly became set apart from his tap dancing. Later on, he would go on to branch out and become his own actor. He studied the art of clowning at Drury Lane from Dan Leno, and admiring the French comedian Lax Linder, also learned to use the elements of absurdity from Fred Carney. His mother at a young age imitated people as they passed their house, which taught him how to express emotions with his hands and face. He later went on to learn his methods of filmmaking from that same school at Drury Lane. During his lifetime, Charlie Chaplin never talked about his filmmaking methods, claiming such as a thing would be tantamount to a musician spoiling his own illusion. Later on, however, this is most likely because he had no method. Charlie Chaplin, when doing and directing a movie, would never go by a script. Rather, he would keep shooting scenes until he found one that he just so happened to like. From there, he would go on to write the storyline and then delete other scenes that did not align with the plot. Producing films in this manner, as a young director, earned him the nickname of the Perfectionist, and this meant that it took him longer to complete his pictures as well. The short 53 take for every finished take in The Kid, and for a 20-minute short, The Immigrant, he used 40,000 feet of film, which is enough for an entire movie.
His style is generalized as restrained and intelligent slapstick, yet in reality it is depth, poetic, physical comedy, and thoughtful situation-based gags. He spent more time in each scene focusing on developing the viewer's relationship to the characters. Chaplin's quirky mannerisms and serious demeanor in the midst of slapstick action are his main key of aspect of comedy. The theme in most of his silent films are the characters' efforts to survive in a hostile world. This includes the infusion of pathos, personal failure, society's structures, economic disaster, and a lot of social commentary.
In his work of art, the tramp and human treatment of factory workers is constantly sewn throughout, as the main character is subjected to inhumane working conditions and is even experimented on with a self-feeding machine. In his next work of art, Modern Times, the main female role, Gammon, is introduced stealing food due to the lack of pay that her father receives at the factory he works in. This goes to show his personal belief that the Great Depression demoralizes people. Later on, the main female role's father is shot while at a protest in front of the factory, going to show just how factory owners really did not care about their workers. In his show, A King in New York in 1957, the main character, Shadov, caught another person reading a Karl Marx newspaper and asked him if he was a communist. The character instinctively replied no, which plays off the fact that Chaplin himself was accused of being a communist due to him aligning with many left-wing ideals. His citizenship in America was revoked, and he was oftentimes discriminated against for having so-called communist ideals. With being accused of being a communist, during his time in America, he was also accused of being a Jew. He made the movie The Great Dictator to play off this fact, as he plays as a Jew and both a dictator, going against the horrors of Nazism. In the end, he even says a world-famous speech going against the nativism and encouraging United States citizens to fight in World War II. Throughout his life, he oftentimes was questioned about his movies and just how socially connected they were. And every time he was asked, he always answered them saying, "I am an individualist. I am an internationalist, a peacemonger, and I use my status as a driving force against inequality. Those are the words of the great Charlie Chaplin, a fighter for social injustice and a protector of human rights.